Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Sunday, August 25th, and we are here talking to you about things that matter to you. Not the things that we think are the most important for you, but the things that we know you care about. How do we know that? Because you drive the content of this show. So even when I'm talking about something about the economy, it's often in response to a question that I've gotten from one of you, and I thank you so much for that. Mark and I exist because of you guys, and we understand that. We are so grateful. If you've got a question, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Of course, let us know if you'd like to come on the air live. And while you are on the website, don't forget, my book is still for sale. It's called The Great Money Reset. And I wrote it because as many of you were making big changes in your lives during COVID, it kind of became apparent to me that you were seeking some guidelines. So these are the guidelines that help you turn chaos into opportunity. The Great Money Reset, it is available in paperback. Okay, right now, let's talk to Dave, who's on the line from New Jersey. What's going on, man? What can we do for you?
Hey, I'm 53 years old, thinking about retirement. That'll probably be maybe when I'm 60, but I wanted to get some feedback from you guys on where I am and what I'm doing.
Okay, so tell us more about you. What's going on? Do you have a spouse, Dave?
Yes, I have a wife, 52 years old.
Okay, and do both of you work?
We both work.
Okay, how much do you earn together?
Together, 260.
That's nice. Good for you. And are you putting money in a Roth or a traditional retirement?
Traditional.
Okay, got it. And your wife is not?
She is not. I'm doing that part for our family.
Okay, very good. Family, kids?
I have one son who's a senior in high school.
And is your son heading to college?
Yes.
And is that college been paid for, or are you going to pay it out of cash flow? What are the arrangements?
So we have a 529 with about 84,000 in it, and I hope to cash flow the rest.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Depends on which college he ends up going to.
Can I make a suggestion of Rutgers, or would that not go over well in the house?
He's not interested in Rutgers.
Of course he's not.
Yeah.
Why do these? We give our children way too much choice, says the woman with no children. What is the price tag going to be? Is it going to be one of these 50, 60 grand a year kind of places?
Yeah, we think the low would be like 40-ish and the high would probably be 61-ish.
All right. So if we say 50, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. And do you feel like you can cash flow this? Like, in other words, are you going to stop putting money into retirement, or do you feel like on your 260 right now, you can actually pay for the extra, the differential?
We do not plan on changing our retirement contributions at all. Mm-hmm. I do think we can cash flow the college program. And if I have to pull a little out of brokerage to make it work, we'll do that. But I think once he's out of the house, it'll be be an empty nest. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll make things work.
You mentioned a brokerage account. What do you have?
330.
And how is that invested? Mostly in mutual funds or stocks? What do you got?
It's mostly indexed mutual funds, equity with Vanguard.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So that is good that you have that. I mean, so if you had to, you could certainly pay for it. Tell me how much is in your retirement accounts.
403Bs and one traditional IRA totals 520.
And you're accumulating quite a bit in there now, I presume. And what about, are you either or both of you entitled to a pension?
Both.
Wow. Tell me more.
Yeah, we both work in New Jersey public schools. She's been doing it longer than I have, so she has a little better formula. Mm-hmm. I make a little more money, so I have a better bottom line.
At 60, so this is like when you're both 60, what's the number for the pension?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. I'm ready.
Yeah.
So when I'm 60 and she's 59, my gross pension would be $7,400 a month. Yes. Hers would be $6,000 a month.
Okay.
Combined, $13,500 a month. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out what would be a reasonable net figure to figure, with as far as taxes. So I've been saying maybe 77% of that I'd take home, maybe. Well, so that would be about $10,000, a little more.
Let me ask you a question. How do they do the healthcare in New Jersey?
So if you've been in it long enough, there's a really, really good deal, but neither one of us have. Mm-hmm. It looks like, you definitely can roll into a state healthcare program. Mm-hmm. I'm not certain of the rate. One of my friends who I just hired back, who's retired, is only paying like $200 a month. So she's pretty happy about that. If I could get a deal like that, I'd be thrilled. Mm-hmm. What I'm kind of thinking about now is that the mortgage payment I make now, when that's gone, right about the time I'll be retired, I'll kind of just consider that as that's probably going to be my equivalent
Oh,
healthcare.
okay. Tell me, how much is your house worth?
About 540,
And what is the remaining mortgage?
124,
What's the rate?
4%.
What do you think you need to live on if the mortgage is gone at that time, at age 60? What do you think is the actual amount you'd like to count on for living expenses, needs, and wants? Like, what would you like to be able to have?
Yeah, so we're living on right now about 10 to 12,000 a month,
Okay.
which is higher than I'd like. It clearly fluctuates. That includes, a mortgage, but really when the mortgage is paid for, only half the payment goes away because about half the payment is taxes and insurance. So maybe, 10, 11 would probably work.
Okay. I mean, out of 13,400 a month, even if you cleared 9, which seems like pretty reasonable assumption, 9 out of that.
Right.
That's not bad. What about Social Security? You've got a future benefit amount. Do you happen to know approximately what that would be for you guys?
Yeah, I know. Well, I know mine. So my Social Security at age 67 would be 3,200. That's what the calculator says right now from the Fed.
Yep.
And at 70, it would be like 4,100.
I mean, so obviously,
my wife's is, probably a little less, but not too far off, I bet.
I mean, it's interesting because the way I look at this is if you retire at age 60 and you start collecting your pension, here's a few things that we have to think about. One, you've got this brokerage account. Are you contributing more money into that account as time has gone by? Or is that like kind of, I don't know how you got that, but if you're maxing your retirement account and it costs you 10 or 12 grand to live, are you actually adding to that brokerage account?
The plan's always to add to it, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I haven't been lately. I feel like my living expenses have gone up from the last couple of years. I'd like to still throw more money at that, but with my son going to college, I don't think that's a reality.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Here's what I'm thinking. I kind of am looking at 3 different phases for you. I'm looking at the phase of college. Okay, so what do we do to get prepared for college? I think it's a lot to ask to actually fund college out of cash flow because it's a big number. This is a lot of money and I think it's almost too much pressure. It's not worth it in many respects. When do we find out about college?
You find out from your answers from the colleges as it goes through the fall and winter, but May 1 is decision day. Every college you have to make
May 1. Okay. So May 1.
We'll make it in April though, for sure.
Okay. So we're going to know whether it's 40, 50 or 60 grand, right? So let's say it's 40. And if that's the case, then what I think you should do, let's say whatever it is, I don't even care. Whatever the number is, whatever that first year is, I think it may make sense for you to look at that brokerage account and pay for the first year out of that brokerage account. Because, in a weird way, the 529 asset is more valuable the longer you wait. So you might as well let that balloon up. I would pay for the first year out of that brokerage account and not look back. Who cares? I mean, you've got index funds. You've probably owned them for a while. You probably have a pretty darn good gain in those. I think I would want year 1 to be paid for out of that. Then you get to kind of see what happens when the kid's out of the house and how the cash flow goes. I just think that the next 4 years are going to be kind of interesting. And, what you can know is that you got the last 2 years dealt with. Let's deal with year 1 out of the brokerage account. Then let's see kind of what happens. Listen, maybe you'll do both years. Maybe you'll do years 1 and 2 out of the brokerage. 529 is year 3 and 4, whatever. Okay. Just be happy with that. That's fine. Okay. And you have an emergency reserve fund, right? You have like a little cash on hand somewhere?
We have a little bit, probably not as much as you'd normally have. I have 30,000 set aside, but to be honest, in 2 public sector jobs,
you're not
a little more security than other people.
Yep, I agree. I understand that. Okay, so now we get done with college, and now we're coming into retirement years, right? Are you saying the age 60 because like, oh, I'm fried, I got to get out of here, or 60 is like maybe, but I could do 62? Like, what do you think the likelihood is here?
So there's an interesting thing there. I have a couple of options. One is I could just go at 60. There's no pressure either way. One of the things I'm thinking about doing when I retire is I can do, when you fill in for someone who's not working, like if they have a gap, they need a principal for 6 months. You can do this work, like kind of like gig work for 6 months here or there.
Nice.
There's a lot of administrative jobs I can do.
That's kind of cool.
I can do that and draw a pension. The other thing to consider And I don't think I can get my wife to work a day more than what she's already scheduled for.
Listen, leave her alone. She's worked hard. She's done her thing.
Here's the interesting thing about this pension is that every year we worked together. If we both worked, every year past age 59 and 60, the pension goes up $500 a month. So it's like if you get into a jam financially, it's like, oh, okay, just work another year or two. And
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Good like fallback plan, I feel like.
Okay, that is good. And you know what? You'll know more once we get through the college years. That's what I think. Then what we need is retirement until Social Security. That's really what the next game plan is. From that period, what's going to be interesting is whenever you retire, you're going to have income. So it's not like you're going to go into a 0% tax bracket, right? You're not going to be one of these people who's like, yeah, my tax bracket went way down. You'll pay lower taxes, no doubt. You'll probably move from a top bracket of, say, 24%. You might squeeze into 22%, because you'll be making good money. Maybe what I would do is from the day you retire until you start getting Social Security, I might start pulling some money out of your traditional retirement account. I know that people are like, oh, but it's growing tax deferred. Yeah, but you know what the tax liability is going to be. And once you start getting Social Security, your tax bracket's going to be high. And I don't know where tax rates are going. So I would think what you would do is from retirement until claiming Social Security, whether it's 67 or 70, because that's going to kind of depend on whether you work an extra couple of years or not. Then I would start using my traditional IRA and 403B, which will probably get combined after you leave, and use that to fund your cash flow needs. And again, as you said, it may not be a lot. It might be a couple $1,000s a month for 7 years or 5 years or however long that is. Use that account. Pay the tax that's due. Don't go crazy. Don't take it all out, but just use that. Then whenever you claim Social Security, you guys are in phenomenal shape because your pension and Social Security will cover your needs. That's going to happen just automatically. And if you really want to use that 12,000 as the bogey, if you say we really do want to spend 150 grand a year because we're really happy and we want to spend, then work an extra couple of years. You have the ability to do that. So if you want to spend more, you work an extra year or two. Or as you said, you can always do a little extra work on the side. Although, that contract work sometimes can drag you right back down into the rabbit hole. But for me, and this may be different for you, it may be more fun for you to like get a new school and have some fun. For me, I'd be like, oh, I know where the warts are in this job. I've got this mastered. It's a pain in the ass, but I know who the pains in the asses are, and I can navigate that. You go to a new place, you got to figure out who's who and what's what all over. I don't know. I don't love that learning curve when I'm 62. That's just my 2 cents. Mark, have I missed anything?
No, I think he's good. I would definitely keep making those retirement contributions because if you keep contributing what you're contributing for the next 7 years, by the time you're 60, that's going to be around $1 million. And I know he asked, should he make his contributions from here on out Roth? I probably would because you don't have any Roth. You're going to have a lot of income.
I think that sounds good. And do you guys have all of your estate documents done?
So we don't. Here's what we do have. I bought the software to do a will this week, knowing that I was coming on the show.
Oh, it's so good. It's like the hammer's going to drop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then we don't have any life insurance. I think I need to pick up a little bit more. We do have with our pension.
Wait. Hold on a second. Yep. Why do you need life insurance?
Just because I'm thinking we have big college bills coming, and if one of us drops, we lose that pension.
Yeah, but it's going to be expensive. Can you buy something through the school system that's cheaper or through your union?
I can look. Here's what we have. We have 3.5 times our salary each. That's just part of the deal of being in public education in the pension system. So for me, that's 500. For my wife, it's, I don't know, a little less.
Well, then that's not so bad. But
yeah, so there's that. That's like a good buffer against like college bills and, things like that.
I don't know. I think it's going to be expensive for you to get like a 10-year term policy. I think it's going to be expensive. But check it out. Maybe you can get something cheap through, like I said, through an association, perhaps. And if you can bang it up if you can increase it to instead of 3 times, go to 6 times or something, and then, peel it back as you start accumulating more money. Do a little investigation on the life insurance. Get the will done. You feel like you got what you need from us?
I did. Thank you. And thanks, Mark, for your Roth comment as well.
If you've got a question that's been bubbling up for you, maybe you're walking on the beach, maybe you're taking a hike, it's your August vacation, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. While you're there, don't forget to check out all the content that lives there. Tons of stuff. There's resources, there's videos, there's other programs. It's all there at JillOnMoney.com. Don't forget to put your hands metaphorically or maybe physically on someone's back. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.